Today my DIY tutorial is on these beautiful aquamarine shoes with Swarovski crystals. Super easy to make. I think the hardest thing is just that they take time. These shoes took me about 12 hours to make. So I highly suggest you pop in your favorite show that you like to binge watch or your favorite couple of movies and just get started. Beading is super easy if you have something going on in the background. So let's get started. Okay, so to get the shoe, we're gonna need a shoe in any color. To get the color that I wanted it to be, I used Angelus leather paint in white and South Beach. These are both 1 ounce bottles. They were plenty for the shoes. I used Swarovski crystals to give it a little bit of extra bling. And I used aquamarine beads. They're the half bags, easy to glue on. And I used all different sizes, but to give you an idea of how many you need, this is the 3mm size and this is 1,000 beads. So you need quite a few. I'll print underneath the video exactly how many I used of each bead for the size shoe I needed, just to give you an idea, but it seems like a lot when you're ordering it, but it's really not. Finally, some E6000 glue. E6000 is my favorite so far, so that's what I stuck with. We need to go from this to this. And yes, it's the same shoe. I'm painting the shoe because once I add the beads, any little pieces or little nooks and crannies that you can see in between the beads, I want to reflect the same color of the bead. So I am going to paint this shoe first in a primer. I am using white acrylic leather paint by Angelus. Then I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to go over it with this South Beach acrylic leather paint. I have not ever used Angelus paint before. I decided to try it because a lot of sneakerheads love it, so I thought it would be a really great choice. I went to the website, the Angelus Direct website, and researched the material on how to prep my shoe. And the website informed me that because my shoe is suede, this is kind of like a suede-like material, so I figured it fell in the same category. I really didn't need to prep it except for clean it, which means that all I need to do is apply the white paint and let it dry. So the next thing that the website instructed was that you should apply the paint in thin coats rather than one heavier coat. So I'm going to put on a couple of strokes and then I'm going to turn this off and paint the shoe because I don't think you want to watch me paint it. And then when I add the second coat, I'll show you guys what I do. So I'm going to just try. I'm going to dip my paint, and it's kind of thick paint. They sell a paint thinner, but I didn't get it. I didn't think I need it. This was my first experience, so I just thought, let me just see how it works. It goes on pretty easily. Seems like it's fine. I'm definitely going to need more than one coat of primer. I can see that right now. And I don't know if the brush strokes are going to show on here. I saw that in order to let the paint dry, you need about 15 minutes in between each coat. So that makes it a lot easier. And then when you finally added your last coat, you want to let it dry overnight. So I'm going to finish painting this shoe and I'll come back in a little bit. This is what the shoe looks like after the first coat, and I taped the bottom of this because I don't want the little knob on the bottom to be painted. This is the fourth and final coat. I'm very pleased with how it looks. This is how it started off, super black. This is the completed prime look. So now I'm going to add the South Beach acrylic paint, and I'm going to see how this turns out, but I have a feeling that I'm going to love it. This is the final result of the paint. I put one coat on. I love it. I'm going to leave it just like that. Again, this is the South Beach acrylic paint from Angelus that I used. Our next step is beading the shoe. I changed up the background so that you can see where I'm working. I'm going to establish a couple of patterns on the shoe and then fill in the rest however. So the first pattern I'm going to establish is along the top of the shoe. And by creating a border with a smaller bead, it gives it a more finished look, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. I completed the pattern around the shoe. The next pattern is the heel. So I'm doing lines up this side of the heel and then following the same pattern up the opposite side of the heel. They'll meet in the center, and then in the center is where you'll fill in the places with different size beads. So I hope you can see that. I am going to continue working on the heel, and when that's complete, I will show you what I did with the other parts of the shoe. So this is the progression of the shoe so far. As you can see, I've made some small patterns with the larger beads and the rhinestones. Hopefully you can see the shine. And now I'm just filling everything in. I've completed the back of the shoe. Then if you come along to the side, it's the same thing. So as you can see, I started off with the larger beads, and I'm going to fill them in with the smaller beads as the space gets closer. But just so that I utilize the beads that I purchased, I want to make sure that I fill out the spaces with the larger beads first. So this is just a different perspective of the shoe with different lighting. As you can see, I'm using the larger beads and the larger rhinestones to fill in space. And after I'm done, I will use the smaller rhinestones to get all the extra little spaces. So as a reminder from my DIY shoe haul that I did earlier, this is the before. This is the after. Along the top, I used 4 beads. I think I said 3, but it's actually size 4, so you can get a close-up. Along the bottom, I used 5s. For the heel, I also used 4s, and then for the Swarovski crystals, I used 12 and 20 SS. So hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. Please come back and visit soon. Thank you for watching.